Hello, everybody. I'm JB, and I am here to talk to you about Survivor Winners at War. This is the first video. I'm going to give my predictions for the season, the elimination order I think is going to happen, and every week that the show is on, I'm going to give a review of it, talk about what happened, and it's just going to be fun little videos that I do. And if you enjoy them, great. So if not, then that's also great. Whatevs. I'm not going to have a lot of fancy effects or that good of camera. It's just going to be me sitting here talking about what I think. So, I'm not going to have any cuts in this video. It's just going to be me talking. Quickly, I'll give a little backstory. I've seen every season. I started with season 4 when I was very young. Barely made it through season 5. Didn't watch for a long time after that. And then around the time season 28 was about to air, I binge watched season 1 up to the recent season, which was, by the time I caught up, when I started, season 28 was starting, and by the time I caught up, season 29 was ending. So I would watch about 2 episodes a night before bed and got all my Survivor caught up. And then the first season that I watched live since way back when I was young was season 30. Which was blue collar versus white collar versus no collar. So anyways, that's me. I have a list here. I'm going to talk about who I think is going to go home first, who I think the winner's going to be, and we're just going to go right down the list. If you agree, cool. If you don't, let me know. It'll be cool if I'm right. It'll be funny if I'm wrong. So either way, I think we're going to enjoy this season. So, starting off the list, the first person that I think is going to be voted out is, and some of you may disagree, hot take, I think our 2-time winning Queen of Survivor, Sandra, will be the first person voted out. Because she has won twice. She probably is going to have the biggest target out of anyone out there. If she can somehow make her way through the first tribal, then she could go far. We saw in Game Changers that she did play pretty well, and then there was a tribe swap, and she got pretty much the raw end of the deal. But before I go on, quickly, I'm going to list off the teams so that everyone knows. There's a red team and a blue team. The red team has Amber, Kim, Sandra, Sarah, Sophie, then Nick, Tony, Tyson, Wendell, and Yul. The blue team has Danny, Denise, Michelle, Natalie, Parvati, Adam, Ben, Ethan, Jeremy, and Rob. Alright, so those are the teams. So, like I said, I think the red team loses first. Sandra's the first boot. I love Sandra. I hope she goes far, but I don't see it happening. The second boot, I think, is going to be someone who is perceived as a huge target. I don't know how they're going to get that target off their back. I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're going to be able to play as well as they did in the past. And that player is Parvati. I think Parvati will be voted out second. I think people are going to see her as too dangerous. People aren't going to work with her because they know that she will backstab them. She will play them. She's really good at manipulating. I think she played too good the last 2 times that she played. So, immediate target. I don't see her going far. I think she's going to be the second boot. Third boot, I think, is going to be one of the most entertaining winners, and that is Tony. I love Tony. Hope he goes far. We saw in Game Changers he kind of jumped the shark. Hopefully he learned his lesson and will be able to move forward. But I still think he's going to be a bit too sporadic and too much of a wild card. I don't know many people that will want to work with Tony because he's such a wild card, and I don't know many people that want to go against him either for the same reason. I think he's just too unpredictable, and because of that, I think most people are going to want to get him out. Um, and then, fourth person that will be voted out is someone who I believe will be seen as a threat in all categories: strategy, physical prowess, um, challenge beast, social game. And this may surprise some of you, but I am talking about Tyson. I think people are going to underestimate Tyson at first, and then it won't be long until they're like, wait a minute, Tyson is he's kind of a big threat. Um, I think he's gonna try to just kind of blend into the background, but unless he can find a meat shield, someone else who is strong and is going to be really good in challenges, I don't see him lasting that long. I think they're going to be like, we need to get him out. Because I think he's probably, out of the men, the most physically fit and strong. But I could be wrong. Tony's got a lot of muscle, but he's never won a challenge, I don't think. So I don't see Tyson lasting long. I think he will be seen as too much of a threat, and they'll want to get rid of him. I don't think people will want to work with him because I think if he goes to the end, he could probably beat a lot of these players. I think he's so laid back, and that's what makes him really intimidating. Love Tyson. Hope he makes it far. I would actually love if he won. I don't think it's going to happen. Moving on to the fifth player voted out, and this is another one that I could be 100% wrong, but I think Rob goes home fifth. And let me explain why. He's playing with his wife, and between the two of them, I don't think Amber will be voted out first. Why would you vote out Amber when you can vote out Rob? Because between the two of them, they would want to get rid of Rob first. He's just seen as the bigger threat. Because then you get rid of Rob, and people are going to think, oh, Amber's not really a threat. She's just a number we can use. Now, I think Amber does have a lot of potential in this game, and I think she has the ability to be a good player this season, but I don't think she'll be perceived as one, especially in the beginning. So, for me, unless the red team wants to just weaken Rob if he somehow gains control, which he's such an overdog and he's such a big threat, I don't see these winners allowing him to become a big overdog. So I think he's going to get his game time cut short. It makes sense to get rid of Rob before Amber. They are on different teams, but if I was on the red team or the blue team, I would want to get Rob out. So, because once you get Rob out, Amber's not going to be seen as a threat. That doesn't mean that she won't be a threat, but they won't perceive her as such. So, sixth person voted out. And after 6, I'm assuming that's when we're going to have Edge of Extinction, because I believe after the first 6 were voted out in that season, that's when someone came back. So after this player, I'm going to talk about who I think is going to come back. So the 6th person voted out, which is probably going to upset people and think I'm wrong, but I think Kim goes home 6th. Kim will be voted out because she's another player who's just a huge threat. I think people are going to recognize that right away. I think people are going to be wanting to work with her, but also not want to keep her around. I feel like she's such a big threat. You don't want to work against her, but you also don't want to work with her because she's just that good. She's another player who, if she gets to the end, I think she could beat pretty much anyone on this list. Almost anyone. She's just probably in the top 5 who you just can't get to the end, let alone even get to the merge. So I think Kim goes next. But then we get to Edge of Extinction, and I think it's close between Tyson, Rob, and Kim. I think those other 3, it's going to be really close for, but I do think Kim will pull it off and come back into the competition. I think Kim will return from Edge of Extinction and fight her way back into the game. I think Rob will come close. I think Tyson will come close, but I think Kim will pull the rug out from under him, and win it in this scenario. So that's 5 people gone because we had 1 come back. So next up, I think, is Sophie. Now, Sophie, I think, will be underestimated. I don't think people will view her as a threat. Ideally, you would suspect that she would go far, but I think she will be kind of a plan B vote, or they will make it seem like they're voting someone else off, and then I think she will be voted off instead. She'll be either idled out, or it'll come down to alliances and teams, and people will find an idol. So I think she'll be voted out in an interesting way. I would hope she goes far. It is possible. I debated putting her this low, but I just have a sense or gut feeling that she's not going to make it much farther than that. But I love Sophie. I hope she does well. I really do. She's one of my favorite winners. And then after Sophie is Natalie. And Natalie is another one who she won't be seen as a huge threat initially with others, but as the numbers start to crunch down, I think she'll play a big game. She'll make some big moves. She'll try to cause some, not trouble, but cause some changes in the dynamics. And she's really smart, and she's a really good player, and I think people will realize that. And she could be another one like Sophie, where she just gets the game pulled out of the rug from under her and goes home from an idle play. But I love Natalie. Hope she does well. But again, I think she's too big of a threat. And this next one is the same way. It's Wendell. And Wendell is really likable guy. Good strategist. He, beat Dominic in his season. 2 really strong players. And I think people will want to work with Wendell. I don't see anyone wanting to work against him. I wouldn't want to work against Wendell. So I think everyone would want to work with Wendell, and I think that's why he's such a big threat. So I think he'll be able to use his charm and likability to survive for quite a while, but I think eventually the rug will be pulled out from under him. And I'd like to see him go further. I don't know, folks. I'm drinking coffee. I'm trying to wake up. I think he will do well, but I think you can't keep Wendell around that long. So I think he will go home next. Then after that is going to be Michelle. And I think Michelle will definitely be underestimated. But I think she will fall under the same line of Sophie. I think she'll make some big moves and she'll start showing that she's a threat, and I feel like it'll just be a safe vote where people will be like, oh yeah, Michelle, she's really strong. We got to get her out because she's a challenge beast. She's very likable. She makes smart moves, smart decisions. She'll be under the radar. And it's around this time where those under the radar players, I think, will start to really show how good they are. And if she can get by and go further, that's great. I mean, most of these, pretty much everyone, I'd love to see go far. But I think she will get voted out right around then. And let's see, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9. So that would be a little bit after the merge because Kim returned. Otherwise, it would be 10. So I think, so Natalie would be my merge boot. So, So then it would go. So as of now, the elimination order has gone Sandra, Parvati, Tony, Tyson, Rob, Kim. Then Kim comes back from Extinction Island, or Edge of Extinction, whatever. Sophie, Natalie, Wendell, and Michelle. That's what it's been so far. And then next up is going to be, I believe, Sarah. I think right around the middle is how far Sarah will go. She's another player I think is really strong. People will start to see that she's strong. I think she'll just be another Michelle. I think she'll be less underestimated than Michelle. But I think if they're smart, they'll get rid of Sarah before she gets too far. Because she is a really big threat, I think. And next up, I have Adam. Now, I don't think people are going to view Adam as a threat. And I know Adam's kind of been floating around as a fan favorite. But I think he's going to be just another case where something happens where he's either has an idol, it's nullified, or he's played out by an idol, or there's someone switches. I feel like Adam will just be another vote that's kind of safe for everyone and they'll feel comfortable doing it. If someone flips or not, I feel like Adam is another one who's kind of a wild card. So I think it's dangerous to keep him around. He's another one who I think, I don't know if he could win against most of these players, but he could definitely cause a lot of shifts in the game. So I think because of that, they'll want to get Adam out. And I like Adam. He won unanimously. He's one of 2 winners to win unanimously. I think at this point, he will start to be seen as a big threat. Alright, so we are now down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not including the next returnee. So at this point, Kim has returned to the game. She hasn't been voted out yet. I think she will be able to come back and really stir the pot and kind of run a lot of the show. But next up, we will have Yul. And a lot of people are going to be sad to hear me say that. But Yul's another one. He's very charming, very likable, very smart. Everyone's going to want to work with him, I think. People won't want to work against him, and that's why they're going to have to get him out. I think he will do really well at blending in and being likable. But he may even gain control of the game. But that's why I think he's going to have a big target on his back. And if these winners are smart, then they will turn on him and they will vote him out. And I love Yul. I know a lot of people love Yul. But I don't see him making it quite far. A little bit past the middle of the pack at most. He could be an early boot just because of how good and a threat he is. Because he's another one where if he gets to the end, he probably wins. And then after Yul is Jeremy. And Jeremy is one of my favorite winners. He's the only man to win a all returnee season. Like Cochran won Fans versus Favorites, but there were new players there. He's the only male to win a season of all returning players. And like he said in his interview, I think it's very similar to this season, where he played against all these all-stars. Um, and he's just another one who is just a big threat to win the game. Like, you can't bring Jeremy to the end because he probably will win. Out of all the winners, I think he probably would win against anyone except for like Sandra, because it'd be a miracle if she made it to the end, but I don't see it happening. I mean, Jeremy is just such a big threat. I think he will definitely be someone people want to work with. People will feel comfortable keeping him around at first, but eventually you got to get rid of him. So, love Jeremy, but I think that's as far as he will go. So now we get down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the final 6, not including someone returning from Edge of Extinction. I always want to call it Extinction Island. So in the final 6, I think the next boot is Danny, and I love Danny. She's another one of my favorite winners. I think she'll play a really good under the radar game, and I don't think she'll be seen as an initial threat, but I think this will be at the point where alliance lines are really drawn, and I think she'll just get the short end of the stick and will get voted out either via idol or some mix-up. I don't think it will be just a traditional vote out. I think there will be some big moves played that sends her home. So after Danny is the returnee, Kim. I think Kim will run the game. I think she'll show that she's strong. And then I think they will make some big moves to get her out. And at this point, there's 5 players left. The 5 players left in alphabetical order would be Amber, Ben, Denise, Ethan, Kim, and Nick. And the reason why I think those are going to be all fire is, like I said, I think Kim will be voted out. She'll return. Ethan he's been so long since he's played. I don't think he's going to show that he's thinking strategically. I think people will see him as someone they can trust and be a good number. Ben, I don't think people will see as a threat. I think they'll see him as a number and want to keep him around. Amber, I don't think the same way. You see a pattern here? People won't think she's a threat. They'll keep her around if they get Rob out. Denise, she's an older woman. She won't be seen as a threat, even though she should be. All these players should be. And then Nick, he's kind of a newer winner. And I don't think people are going to see these players as much of a threat as they would others. And, it's the people that are going to be under the radar that you really have to worry about. So, Kim gets voted out right before Edge of Extinction returnee number 2 comes. If I'm going by the previous season, which they had someone come back at final 5 to make 6. So they could do it later, but this is assuming it's the same thing as last season. So the next returnee, out of all the players that have been eliminated, I think the person that returns will not be Kim again, but it will be Boston Rob. I think Rob will win. I think there'll be a puzzle. Rob's good at puzzles. I think it'll be tight between him, Tyson, Sophie, Wendell, Jeremy, Danny, Kim. I think those are a few challenge beasts. Who am I missing? Michelle, if I didn't say her. Sarah. I mean, a lot of people, but just a gut feeling that I'm going off of. I think Rob will come back. So at this point, our final 6 would now be Amber, Ben, Denise, Ethan, Nick, and Boston Rob. So, Rob returns. Next to be eliminated, voted out, whatever, is Ethan. I think he'll be seen as a huge social threat. I think people will realize if he gets to the end, he could win. So I think by that time, I don't know if he'll have the cards up his sleeve to win immunity, to make the big moves. I think people will want to keep him around, but they'll also realize how big of a threat he is at that point. So I think Ethan goes next. So after Ethan, I think it's got to be Nick. And I love Nick. And it may be bias, recency bias, and likability bias, but I don't think people are going to get rid of Nick. I think he's got the charm, he's got the likability. People will want to work with him. They won't want to work against him. But at the same time, I don't feel like he'll be so much of an obvious threat that people will want to get rid of him. So I really think Nick will make it far. But no further than 5th place. I think by that point, he will probably not be the biggest threat to get out, but it just seems like he doesn't quite make it to the end. But I definitely see him making at least top 6. So the final 4, we have Ben and Denise and Boston Rob and Amber. So you got the married couple making final 4 because Rob came back from Edge of Extinction. And I think the fire making challenge comes down to Rob and Denise. I'm sorry. Rob and Amber, I mean. I think Denise wins final immunity, takes Ben to final tribal, and makes Rob and Amber compete in fire making challenge. And I think Amber beats Rob, either through sheer miracle, or maybe Rob lets her win, knowing that she has a better chance. But I think we will have, and it would be awesome if we did, a Final 4 fire making challenge between Rob and Amber. So the final 3, in that case, would be Amber, Ben, and Denise. And I think between the 3, either Amber or Denise would win. I think people will bring Ben to the final 3. I think he'll play a strong game. But between those 3, I think Amber and Denise will have better cases. And it's hard to decide between the 2 who I think would win. I want to say Denise. I feel like Amber could pull it off, but I feel Denise would probably win. I don't know. My head is telling me Amber, but my heart is telling me Denise. So I think that's what happens. So our final 6 has 4 men and 2 women after Edge of Extinction. But ultimately, I think it will come down to the 2 women in that final 6 who wins. But anyways, that is my list. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to post a video after every week. I'm going to try to. I'm really looking forward to this season. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of my list. If you think it's complete garbage and belongs in the trash, let me know. Try to be nice, though. But, it's just for fun. If you think I'm right, let me know. Let me know what your prediction is. Who you think is going home early. Who's the biggest threat? Who do you think is going to win? Who's your winner pick? My winner picks are actually Denise, Nick, Jeremy, and Tyson. Those are probably my 4 favorites. Who else? Let's see. I really like Ethan. I'd like to see Ben do well because he gets a lot of hate from all the idols he found. So it'd be cool if he could show that he doesn't need idols to play a good game. Which I liked Ben. I know a lot of people don't like Ben, but I liked Ben. I like every winner. So I've never been unhappy with anyone who's won. I think I wanted Amanda to win Micronesia, just because I tend to like people who are more nice than strategic. But I still liked Parvati. I thought Amanda was gonna win, but Parvati played a great game, but that's why she was on the heroes. That's why she was on the villains tribe. I mean, Parvati was on the villains tribe, and Amanda was on the heroes tribe. That's kind of how I saw it watching the season. But no, I love every winner that's ever won, and I'm really gonna enjoy this season. But anyways, that's my list. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Subscribe, I guess. Please like the video, or don't. If you want to see me cry, then dislike it. There, I cried for you. Now you don't need to dislike it. But anyways, thanks for watching my ramblings. Look forward to the season starting. And stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to talk about every episode, what I think, how I feel, and give my input. So, that's all, folks. Bye-bye.